let's move on to main topic number 2. And our second main topic today gets submitted to us by Justin M Boldt, who writes, I've always kind of wondered whatever happened to the real Kyle Reese. Now we know. He ended up in the Star Wars universe. What do you think about the news that Michael Biehn is going to be playing a bounty hunter in Mandalorian Season 2? I am so excited for the new season. Thanks, and bring on the filthy. All right, thanks a lot for that, man. And yes, I got to tell you, I'm stoked. Now, I've always mispronounced Michael's last name. I always pronounced it Biehn, but how is it pronounced? How do you pronounce it?
Biehn.
Okay, so hopefully I got that right. I have always loved this guy. Now, of course, he's in 2 of the great all-time classic sci-fi films, in the original Terminator, and of course in Aliens, and he's awesome in both. And Rob, back in the day, before, the first X-Men movie came out and everybody was doing their fan casting, there's your Cyclops.
Right.
There's your Cyclops. I mean, that was the de facto, almost as much as everybody wanted to see Patrick Stewart as Professor X. Almost as much. People wanted to see Michael Biehn as Cyclops. Now, totally great with who they got. It's just they didn't use him very well, which is unfortunate. But I've always liked this guy, and I'll tell you what, I know there were some behind-the-scenes problems, but I have always wondered, how is this guy not a major A-list star? Because he's got a very unique on-screen charisma. And I don't know how else to describe it other than that. A very unique on-screen charisma that just to me makes him gotta watch. Like when he's on screen, he's got my attention. And he's just got a way of being able to carry his characters in such a way that I've always found very engaging and really enjoyable at the same time. So when I heard, Rob, that he was joining Mandalorian Season 2, first of all, look at what John Favreau is doing with casting in this show.
Oh, man, right? Carl Weathers, dude.
He goes out and gets Carl Weathers. Just you look down the casting that he's done this really eclectic kind of odd way of putting this together, and now he goes out and gets a Michael Biehn playing a bounty hunter, apparently. Again, we don't know if he's going to be in just one episode or maybe it's going to be a small storyline that stretches over 2 or 3, but I'll tell you what, I'm excited to see this dude in this movie. Rob, what do you think about the additional Michael Biehn in Mandalorian Season 2?
Well, I think what Favreau is doing, I like to call, he's pulling a Tarantino. He's Tarantinoing it, because Quentin Tarantino would go after actors that he grew up with. People like Robert Forster or Pam Grier, and John Travolta, and revitalize their careers, because Hollywood executives, they're not thinking about these people. They're trying to get the new hot person or whatever. And with Mandalorian, watching people like Carl Weathers get jobs, and by the way, he was great. Favreau's probably like, I love Action Jackson. What's Carl Weathers doing? And goes and get them. And those actors are really happy to be there. They're getting multiple episode stints. And I'm sure people love Michael Biehn. And I'm sure Favreau's like, what's Michael Biehn doing? He's a badass, just like you said. I love Michael Biehn. Let's go get him. And if you're the showrunner, you don't have to ask anyone, can I do this? You just go do it. And I love that. I wish my filmmaking career was a little bit amounted to a little bit more than it has. Not that I've given up or anything, but I would love to do those kinds of casting things too. And I think this is a great. I mean, getting Rosario Dawson to play Ahsoka Tano is probably the same thing too. And he probably just decided to do it. Well, I'm going to go after her, and Dave Filoni might have suggested it, and they're in a position where they can just go make that stuff happen. And I love it. I mean, by the way, Michael Biehn was also great in James Cameron's The Abyss as the military officer who's getting the jitters and basically kind of goes loopy. And
he's always kind of military, right? Navy SEALs.
Yes.
Wasn't he also a military guy in The Rock? I think he was one of the guy. And then what was that? What was the Western he was in again? I'm freezing. It wasn't Tombstone, was it? Was it Tombstone?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I can't remember. I cannot remember now. But anyway,
yeah, but it's great. It's just great to have him back, and I think this is awesome casting, dude.
Yeah, and look, again, you were saying it, Rob. The job they're doing on the casting is not the big A-list profile names, but it's perfect names. Like, so perfect that you take a guy like me that hates the Ahsoka Tano character. I don't understand how anybody sees any value of that character. But even I, who don't like the character, you cast a Rosario Dawson, which would not have been the first name off the top of my head. Even I'm going like, holy shit, that is perfect. That's perfect. I mean, that's just what he's doing. And then you see Michael Biehn as a bounty hunter. I mean, that's perfect. Like, I'm getting very stoked, and I love what Favreau's doing here. Question here is, guys, what do you think about this announcement of Michael Biehn being in Mandalorian Season 2 as a bounty hunter? Jump on down to the comments section and let us know what was your favorite movie of him being in as well, and let us know your thoughts. All right.